Maybe I'll start with Mr. Call. Now, ONGC, of course, is also sort of on its journey. So it would be good to understand sort of how. Hello? Yeah. Good to understand how ONGC sort of planned out the overall journey. What are some of the challenges that you may have faced within that short period? And what are some of the actions that you are taking to ensure the success of this journey?
Thank you, Girish. Basically, if there are any of you from the oil and gas sector, you would know that the first step in the discovery of oil and gas is the seismic data capturing and its interpretation, what we essentially call the API. In this field, the journey of ONGC into the field of digitalization started way back in 1960s, even when the rest of the country did not know what is a supercomputer or a data center. We had this round-the-clock data centers working in the then headquarters at Dehradun. So the journey started in 1960s with these IBM computers, supercomputers. So that was 1960. And from 1960 till about 1990s or maybe early 2000s, there was no transformational kind of change. The first transformation towards our digital journey started when, in the early 2000s, when Mr. Subir Raha joined ONGC as the chairman. So that was when some top-driven projects were implemented. The ERP/SAP implementation in ONGC was done during his tenure, and that is one of the largest ERP implementations in this part of the world. And today, all of our processes are mapped onto ERP. Many other projects, the journey towards digitalization first starts with building an ecosystem and having the connectivity and the broadband links to various sites and wells and production platforms and wellhead platforms. And that had started a little, quite some time back in the 80s, but there was a drastic change around 2000, 2015 when the entire equipments went in for a massive change. And as far as the offshore is concerned, because of its geographic locations and being very far away from the mainland, the only technology which could work there was the satellite-based links. So those satellite-based system was implemented for the offshore and in a very big way. And today we have one of the biggest satellite links to the offshore in this part of the world. So around 2000, this entire journey started around 2000, and then thereafter there was a bit of a lull, and under the present chairman, Mr. Shashi Shankar, he also stepped in on the digital initiative, and one of the projects which was very close to his heart was that we should have a totally paperless office. And I'm glad to tell you that ONGC is the first PSU in the country to have a totally paperless office, down from its headquarters right up to the project level or the site level. We have a totally paperless operations. There are no files or papers moving in ONGC offices. If anybody has a fancy for paper and would like to keep a copy or something, that's something else. But basically, there are not any files in the offices now. If you come to the offices, you will see only very clean lines of tables and chairs. There are no files moving around here and there. So that is one of the areas as far as the IT is concerned. Now, as far as the OT is concerned, the operational technology is concerned, and this is one initiative which was again started but could not see the light of the day during Mr. Subira's time, but now is being successfully concluded. That is the SCADA implementation, whereby the data, the oil and gas data from all our oil fields, including offshore fields, is collected online, and at around between 6:30 and 7:30 in the morning, it reaches our headquarters in Delhi, so that by 9:30, when the directors come, they have a report for the last 24 hours. And this is something of a dream because about 15, 20 years back, we used to just ask for data, ask for reports. Reports used to get delayed and so on and so forth. So now this is basically under the concept of one company, one data. All the data flows between 6:30 and 7:30 to our headquarters at Delhi. And that data also gets merged with our existing SAP system. And, kind of dashboard is there for the directors and chairman to see what is the production, and they can drill down. That is also a feature in that system. So these are the basic areas where we have, embarked on our journey, and we have been very successful in these aspects. But one of the basic difficulties which we faced was not technology, was not lack of machinery, manpower, anything, but it was changing the mindset. Changing the mindset is very important before you embark on a journey. And for this and this very reason alone, I would say that the projects which are top-down driven have a better chance of success in the Indian scenario. Because if you take any initiatives at local levels or regional levels, they are bound to get, obsolete at some stage. But if it is a top-down driven kind of approach, then, the whole thing is monitored very, very carefully, and project timelines are met, and everything falls into place very, very successfully. So the oil and gas sector is one of the sectors where, the real bread and butter operations are carried out very far away from the, the headquarters or the regional headquarters. So the communication links are very, very important, and basically capturing the data is almost it's a very gigantic task. But having done that, transmitting that data from those wellhead sites to the nearby platforms or to the nearby GGS, and then on to the headquarters for them to basically understand what's going on in the field is a totally different ball game, and it requires years and years of perseverance, I would say, changing mindset also along the way. So I think that's sufficient.
Yeah. Thank you. Mr. Lakar, Oil India actually has most of its operations in Assam, quite a tough territory, and as you said, quite remote. So just interesting to hear from you about the various applications from oil and gas digital that you have been implementing, and overall how Oil India has been going about with regards to its digital journey.
Yeah, thanks, Girish. We actually, probably there was a coincidence. In-house, we were trying to harp on all these new digital technologies, which some of our consultants have been talking about. But we were not really making much of headway. This was about 4 or 5 years back. I'm referring to stuff which is beyond the usual ERP and normal office automation. So, but then we suddenly had a sort of a godsend, the Digital India push right from the top, and subsequently the push from the ministry for all the ENP companies under the MOPNG to implement a digital roadmap for themselves. So that sort of, gave a major fillip to the way we in the IT section were thinking. So as usual, we appointed a consultant. And for a PSU, I think, at least in Oil India, it was one of the first instances where we selected the consultant using QCBS. We normally go by the time-tested PSU norm of L1, even for consultants. So that was another good step. And there was one more coincidence. There was a recruitment gap in Oil India for about 15 years. So probably the gap started from around the early 90s and carried on up to the late, almost up to 2010. So there was a gap in the age groups among, between, say, the people leading the organization and the people working at the ground level. So the coincidence was that when we actually started with the Digital Roadmap Consultancy, we did a parallel study of various departments and their requirements. As far as computerization goes, or what they wanted IT to do for them, or what they thought that digital would bring to the table for them. And what we realized was the young lot had come to that level where they would be the ones taking the decisions. And they were all enthusiastic about this new technology. So that itself came as a big boost to our efforts. And finally, I'd like to say we followed the usual, whatever we've been hearing all through the sessions about, doing the as-is study and the to-be state and the gap analysis, and then identifying the technologies that you would implement to, reach your digital goal. So we've started now. We are at a very early stage of what we call the phase 2, where we'll be implementing some of the technologies that have been recommended. And we've done one more thing. We are going to hold the consultant accountable to show us what value is going to be generated from each of these selected initiatives, which will be implemented under their oversight. So I think that's also been a good step, although it's like patting my own back. So let's see how the journey pans out. We are hoping for the best. Thank you.
Anybody else would like to ask a question?
Shall I say something? Okay. Yeah, basically we just discussed the journey so far, but one of the major initiatives which is being taken with regard to digitalization for the next 3, 4, 5 years, with a short-term planning of around 2 years, is that ONGC is planning to double its production by 2040. There is a energy strategy plan 2040. Under this energy strategy plan 2040, we are going to double our production, triple our refining capacity, and almost 4 times the profits. That is the plan. And under this plan, about 15 different initiatives have been planned, on which the company is going to focus over the next 3, 4, maybe 5 years. So one of the areas on which ONGC is going to focus in the next, in fact, almost 2.5, 3 years now, because 1.5 years almost over, is developing what is called, quote unquote, digital centers of excellence. So this is one of the initiatives which the company has taken. And under this digital centers of excellence, we are going to have what Girish just mentioned, a good mix of people from the technology side, from the field side, and from the electronic side or the programming side. And these people are going to basically look at various technologies which are available today. There's a long list of technologies. Everybody knows what it is. I don't want to repeat it. But they're going to focus on these technologies and develop use cases for the oil and gas sector in ONGC. So under this plan, the first implementations are going to roll off as early as 2021 end or so. We are expecting the first few set of initiatives to take place. In fact, some of the initiatives have already been implemented, though not in pan-India basis, but in different locations. So that is the plan which we have for the next 4 or 5 years, where we are going to focus on areas such as big data analytics, cloud computing, collaborative technology, real-time communication tracking, sensors, 3D scanning, virtual reality, UAVs, robotics, cybersecurity, blockchain. And in fact, as far as the structure of ONGC is concerned, in most companies, the security function is a byproduct of the main IT function. But ONGC has a separate CIO and a separate CISO, that is a Chief Information Security Officer. And they have their own team and they have their own infrastructure all across the country, which will basically help ONGC to prevent any kind of hacking or some sort of incidents which are likely over the next few years when we go a little more deeper into this digitalization journey. So another thing which Girish just mentioned was that he in fact showed that photograph of drilling operations in 1950s and drilling operations in, I don't know, 2000s or whatever it is. I'm very happy to share with the audience here and maybe with Girish also, is that ONGC has already developed a program for drilling analytics, whereby the entire process of the drilling, the connections, then how much time is lost due to these connections and how much time they take for tripping, whatever it is. And all these parameters are captured and they are compared with the benchmark and the best rigs are awarded. And you would be glad to know that with this introduction of analytics about maybe 6 months back or something like that, has led to about 15 to 20% improvement in our drilling efficiency. So already we are running analytics on our drilling operations, so it is not the same old 1950 drilling. Thank you.
Thank you. I had another question around sharing of data, and especially in digital on the social platform side. Most of the companies have really been looking at capturing as much data as possible and then using AI and other things on top of it. Compared to that, oil and gas, because it costs a lot more to do interpretation and to collect data, to a great extent remains confidential within the company. Now, that's how it needs to be, but that again, as a larger entity, as a larger nation, you may miss out on some of the learnings which are there in a larger basin across different fields, across different blocks. So do you see that changing, or do you see industry groups coming together to share more data so that the learnings can feed back into the operations faster? Yeah.
Oil and gas companies have traditionally been very, very possessive about their data. I'm sure that's true of ONGC also. And it's but natural because, we have collected this data across the decades, put in blood and sweat, and so far the feeling was, we cannot really give this data away to anybody else. But of late, what we have seen is a lot of seismic data especially has been now collected and collated by DGH, Directorate General of Hydrocarbons. So they are doing that on a pan-India basis for all companies as far as I know. That data will be available on the national data repository that they are building up. It's being used for all these new bidding rounds of OLP and probably the previous rounds also. Other than that, I think we also have a new portal which has come up called Samanay. But how extensively it's being used, I have my doubts, because in my own company, we keep getting appeals from our higher management to at least log into the portal and put some inputs into it. So I think that's about as much of sharing that's happening as of now, as far as I know. Maybe sir will be able to throw more light.
Actually, one of my associates only helped to develop that Samanay portal. In fact, it was developed by ONGC under the aegis of the Ministry of not petroleum, but the heavy industries. So basically, that portal is essentially only for, like if they're sharing the infrastructure. Like suppose ONGC has a guest house in Mumbai, and there is some other company in Bihar which does not have a guest house in Mumbai. So a person from that company can log into Samanvay, try to book a guest house here, and vice versa. These are the basic, and you kind of share some other data, facilities also. But it is nothing to do with the operational aspects of these different companies. So it is only a sharing of information, sharing of infrastructure, not the oil and gas infrastructure, but generally the other infrastructure. That, to my mind, is a first step towards kind of consolidating the operations of these various entities under a common head. But traditionally, as he mentioned, oil and gas has been very, very secretive and confidential about their data, because for us, data is money, and that is all we have. In fact, just like, in the case of the telecom sector, billing is their forte. They will never outsource billing. Similarly, whatever we do, oil and gas companies, they will never outsource their data unless it is coming from the top and is part of a national plan. That's something else.
Thank you so much, Girish and Rajesh sir and Mr. Lakhar. I would now request Girish to hand over the mementos to our panelists. Requesting Mr. Rajesh Kaul to hand over the memento to our moderator for this evening, Mr. Girish Shirodkar. Thank you so much. With this, we end the sessions for today. See you tomorrow.